What's going on, everyone? Moose here, Airguns of Michigan, and today we're going to continue our prepping talk in this series, and we're going to talk about air guns for hunting during a time where you may need to supply your own food, or at least supplement some of your food. This is going to be a huge debate with a lot of people, and please, people, keep in mind, we are going to keep this positive. We are not judging people. Your plan, everything I'm going to talk about is just a basic game plan for being prepared. Now, once again, just like our past discussions that we talked about, if we're in a situation where food is scarce and you have to resort to hunting, so is everybody else. So it's not going to be like those leisurely Sundays where you go find your little piece of heaven, unless you have your own land and you not having poachers out there. You're going to be competing with other people. You're going to find out just how many hunters live in your area. Couple of different things. Number one, I would highly recommend a break barrel as a small game hunting apparatus. I get it. You own a PCP, your PCP is stacking pellets on pellets at 200 yards, man. You ain't using anything else. Okay, good. My suggestion is still a good break barrel. I have PCPs as well, but if we're in a situation where, let's say, power is out, I get it. Once again, everybody's yelling, but I have a hand pump. Okay, I get that too. But let's just take this back to the ease of operation. A good break barrel, such as this Vyrock HW95, is capable of 50-yard shots on squirrels, chipmunks, bunnies, and the like. Wouldn't go any bigger than those. Maybe a woodchuck, maybe a porcupine if you had a really great shot at him. Maybe some of those getting a little bit bigger than a squirrel things. Maybe. But great place to start. And not only that, but to have some kind of way to bait those animals to you. Hence, Whole Targets, right? My buddy George owns Whole Targets. You can check him out. This is a great bait, in my opinion. This is all made with animal feed and whatever binder he uses to hold it together. You take one of those and you break it up and sprinkle it on the ground. Awesome to bring in the small game critters. Stocking up on some bird seed is another great way. Listen, you can shoot birds and eat them if you had to. You might need to shoot 10, 15, 20 birds a day to feed yourself and, maybe a couple of other people as a supplemented food source, but having something to bring them in is certainly where you want to be. So having something like the Whole Targets, some bird seed, sunflower seeds, whatever, is going to draw in your quarry. Now, once we get into those bigger game animals, let's say coyotes, foxes, deer, I guess, if you want to call it that, going up in power is a great way to continue. Is 30 caliber capable of getting the job done? Probably. Is a high-powered 22 capable of getting the job done in an air gun? Probably. But depending upon what you have access to, keeping in mind that foot-pounds of energy is important, right? This gun is not going to take a deer. Holy cow, I know there's some dude that's sitting there going, man, when I was a kid, I remember as a kid down the road, shot a deer between the eyes with a break barrel and dropped him right on the spot. Awesome. It's 1 in a million shot. Having a high-powered 22 caliber that's shooting 75, 80 foot-pounds is probably more where you want to be with a slug. You know, a 25 caliber shooting closer to 100 foot-pounds is better. A 30 caliber shooting over 100 foot-pounds is better, and certainly a 35 caliber or larger, you know, even up to the 457s, things like that. Having like an Air Force Texan in 457 or a Western Big Bore, something that you can hand pump, get a couple of shots for shooting those larger game animals, is certainly a way to go. I have my own big bore guns, and you know, as much as I don't like to hand pump, in a survival situation, you bet your bottom dollar I'll hand pump if I have to. So, you know, just having a good understanding of your you know, your air guns and, you know, things of that nature are certainly going to make a very good impact on your ability to shoot said animals. You know, a good headshot on a deer or a pig or something like that is a great way to end an animal, you know, relatively quickly. You know, certainly air guns are not going to take the place of what a good firearm could do, whether that's a 22 long rifle, or, you know, a 12 gauge shotgun, you know, even a 410 for small game, things like that. But where it does make a difference is the cost of ammo. I can buy a whole lot of ammo for this, and it's more readily available than it is for me to go out and try to find 22 caliber rounds, unless I search the internet and stockpile on a few of those. You know, not knowing how long it's going to be, and being the fact that this channel is more airgun related, we're gonna stick with air guns. But like I said, you know, having a good solid air gun that is capable of, you know, 12, 15 foot-pounds of energy is going to be perfect for small game hunting and be able to bring those animals down. And certainly for birds, you know, like I said, you know, having bird feeders in your yard, and, you know, always having the birds in your yard, even like as of now, is a great way to ensure that if you need to supply some of this protein to yourselves and your family, it's, you know, it's kind of a known hub for birds, right? We get a lot of hummingbirds because we feed the hummingbirds. So, you know, hummingbirds come into our yards all the time. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to eat a hummingbird, because heaven knows, man, that's like less than a jalapeno popper. But I'm just saying that the hummingbirds know that there's food here, so they frequent our home. You know, just like the other wild birds out there. You know, a couple of, you know, decent sized birds in a situation, whether it's doves or pigeons or whatever, you know, certainly is going to help to offset the protein needs of you and your family. So, you know, being prepared for that and being prepared to bring them in is an amazing way to get started. Same with deer. You know, if you live in an area where you have a deer population in your area, you know, don't be afraid to feed those deer. Keep them coming into your yard. I'm not saying to shoot them over a bait pile or whatever, but if need be, you can always rely on the fact that, you know, you may have a deer come in onto your bait pile when you need it the most. And that's what's important, is when you need it the most. I mean, a full-size doe or a full-size, you know, buck can certainly supply you with an immense amount of food. One other thing that I do want to touch on while we're talking about this is understanding animal diseases. And this is something that my friends and I have talked about. We're pretty versed on it. But knowing some of the diseases that are in your area and what to look for could certainly save your life, or at least save you a heck of a lot of downtime if you eat an animal that's tainted with some kind of disease. So it's important not only to understand your quarry and how you're going to obtain them, but it's also important to understand what happens if you shoot an animal and its liver is full of spots, or it's full of worms, or it's full of this. Is it safe? Are there certain situations where it's safe? Are they not safe? I'm not going to go into all that. That's something that everybody should be doing on their own to learn themselves. I don't want to be held liable for anybody going, But Moose said that it was safe to eat that. Do your research. Look at what's in your area. You know, I know here in Michigan, I can go on the DNR's website and I can look up what kind of diseases are being found now or in the, you know, in the summer. Because listen, in a survival situation, having a deer tag goes out the window. If we're in a survival situation, if you have to survive, in my opinion, dude, you do what you got to do to be what, you know, be what you got to be. Yeah, I think I covered pretty much everything. Obviously, having a good cache of pellets is a great idea to have with these. This particular gun is in 177. I like shooting the Barracuda greens out of it. So these are lead free, and they're quite accurate. These Rabbit Magnum 2s are quite accurate as well. A little bit heavier, but like basically like a slug. You know, and certainly is capable of it. Maybe even having more than one break barrel, just in case something happens to one, you know. And listen, I don't care if yours is a Gammo or if it's you know, whatever. As long as it's accurate, that's the key. As long as it's accurate and you know how to shoot that gun, that's going to make the difference between starvation or potential starvation and having a little bit of protein in your diet to help you, you know, survive. So hopefully that helped everybody. If you guys have any questions about you know, stuff like this, please put it in the comments down below, and I would encourage everybody else who watches these videos to give your feedback, people. Like I said, let's keep it positive. Let's keep it supportive of one another and what we're trying to accomplish as a community, which is to be prepared in case of whatever situation comes up. COVID made it very clear when the world was shut down that a lot of people needed to be more prepared than what they were. You know, toilet paper, for example, I didn't have to worry about it. My wife and I, we coupon. Now, I'm not telling you to go to the store and clean out the shelves. Please don't do that, because that's not good for anybody. But what I am saying is, you know, once a week, if you go to the grocery store, pick yourself up another big pack of toilet paper. Stockpile it down in your basement or wherever you can store it. You know, once again, please don't rush out to the stores looking at this video thinking, oh my gosh, I have to buy everything right now and I'm going to buy everything that they have. Don't do that. That's a bad situation, and it's only worse for everybody else. So, you know, just a little bit at a time, be prepared, start building up your stockpile, have those, you know, those abilities to, you know, have those necessities. Toilet paper, condiments. Condiments is another great thing to have on hand. You know, salad dressings, ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce, things like that to help, you know, with breaking up the monotony of cooking. Salt and pepper, you know, vegetable oil for deep frying your, you know, your food. Great thing to have around, especially like me. You know, we live on a lake, so to have some vegetable oil and a nice cast iron pot, you know, we could build a fire outside, set our pot in it, and deep fry fish right over the fire. It's amazing. So, you know, just be prepared to be prepared. And, you know, once again, you know, having something like this, depending upon where you live, is a great way to do it. You know, even for people that live in the city-ish areas, where at least you have a yard, you know, you can still feed your birds. You know, just make sure that the direction that you're shooting is safe. You're not shooting your neighbors. You know, put some bird seed on a plate on the ground, stand on your deck and pop birds as they come in to eat. You know, it's a great way to utilize these. So, with that being said, till next time, I'm Moose. This is Airguns of Michigan. Be good to each other, and God bless.